8:47 right now. Some tough decisions are looming for Montgomery County Public Schools. The superintendent warns the school system could be forced to cut jobs, programs, or both. It comes after the county council took a preliminary budget vote that would give MCPS $36 million less than what was requested next fiscal year.
The changes we will need to make to close our $36 million gap will be significant, and they will impact services to students and families. There is no running from that.
Superintendent Taylor says he'll soon go before the school board with recommendations on what to cut. And meanwhile, that board is set to vote on the new budget later next month. Joining us to talk more about these critical cuts the schools are facing is David Stein, the president of the Montgomery County Education Association. David, thanks for joining us this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you, too.
As we just reported, the school is facing that $36 million budget shortfall. As someone who represents educators on the front lines, can you explain to us how crucial and how serious these cuts are?
Yeah, these cuts are very, very serious. We're facing a $36 million cut to the budget. We're thankful to the council because the budget cuts were threatened to be over $100 million. So $36 million is obviously a better cut, but it is still going to be devastating to our schools. We're looking at cuts to really, really essential services. Our pupil personnel workers who work with unhoused families, students with attendance issues, alternative programs, those are in the preliminary thoughts of the school board. Our social workers who are working with our school students with many, many difficulties are also in that preliminary list. A whole host of school support professionals with whom we cannot operate schools as effectively. So these cuts are really going to affect the schools and the students and their families going forward.
I know this has been an emotional process. So talk about the real impact here for real people when you're not just looking at it as $36 million or really just a line item in the budget.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think people think, well, $36 million, it's a very big budget. Certainly they can absorb that. But the reality is these cuts are people. And people who are living in this difficult economy, just like all of us are, and cuts to jobs and to families really has a serious impact. And I think educators across the county are very worried and anxious about the future.
What are you worried about most when we think about the impact of these cuts on students and how this all trickles down? Obviously, the livelihood of many people, staff and teachers potentially to be affected, but also the impact on students here.
Oh, yeah. And those services that I mentioned earlier, the pupil personnel workers, the school psychologists, the school social workers, all of those positions are going to be felt by the students. And all of our positions are really crucial that we have in the schools. They're educators who are working hard to make sure that students are educated, that they're coming to school, that they're getting the most out of their education. And so when you start cutting positions like that, it is going to be felt by students and their families.
We know that MCPS is not alone in these budget concerns and issues. What do you believe is a solution here moving forward to make sure that MCPS and other school districts don't face this situation year after year? Where does the burden really fall?
Well, I think all of this is speaking to the chronic underfunding of schools. We are not back to the per pupil funding adjusted for inflation that we were at the Great Recession in 2009. And in Montgomery County, the percentage of the budget that goes to schools used to be 52%. Now it's down to 48%. And so all of this is a result of really a long-standing underfunding of schools. And we have to look at the state level and the local level so that we're not doing this every year, so that every year we're not out here wondering, should we fix HVAC or hire or keep positions. That's a false choice. And we really need to start figuring out the importance of schools and starting to prioritize schools in Montgomery County.
All right. David Stein, president of the Montgomery County Education Association. Appreciate your time for this important conversation this morning.
Thank you. Have a good day.
8:51 now.